Hello, and welcome to this series of videos in which we will show you how to create apps and portals using the Silver Essence platform. In this video, we will show you how to create and use so-called Navigate URLs. And Navigate URLs are basically hyperlinks. Hyperlinks is one of the basic things of the internet. Hyperlinks are used to be clicked on and guide you from one screen or page to another one. So let me show you an example. I click the service objects here on the left, and here you see a list of service objects. Now I can click on that item in the list and then the page will be opened. So let's hide that one for this video. As you can see, I can click through and here I see the list of service issues. Now if I would like to see the details of this service issues, I cannot click here. Here from the list I could click, but there's no possibility here yet. Now, that's something that we are going to solve in this video using the Navigate URLs. We are going to make the issue number and the other fields in this list clickable. So let's go into the editor for this and let me show you how to create the links to go to the service issue from this line. So for that we are going to go into the business entity tab. And we have a list of service issues. So we are going to select the business entity service issue here. And there we click the Edit Properties Settings tabs. Now we want to make these properties clickable. So let's pick the property we want to make clickable, the issue number. As you can see, let's zoom in on the service object here again. There you have the issue number and we want to make this clickable. Okay, let's go back here. On the right of the list of properties, you see a number of panels. And the panel you can use to create these Navigate URLs is the label panel. As you can see, the Navigate URL is not available, so we will click the plus button behind that to create a Navigate URL. This is basically a hyperlink. The hyperlink defaults to the Silver solution page, and in most cases you can leave that as it is. But you want to open that page for a specific controller. So from this list, select the business controller it should go to. And in this case, that's the service issue. Now, we don't want to go to the search engine of search issues, but we want to go for a specific ID. So from the properties, we select the service issue ID. Let's save, and the Navigate URL will be added to the property here. You can change it or you can add additional parameters, but we are going to talk about that in a moment. Now it has the controller and the ID. Controller will be service issue and the ID will be set dynamically. Let's go into the description property. And let's reuse the same Navigate URL. That's possible because if there is one or more Navigate URLs available, then you will have this list here and you can copy it from there. Now it's copied, and to edit the parameters, you can click the plus button here. And as you can see, it also has the controller and ID. I usually copy this because not all lists might have the issue number, while other lists might not have the description. Now, if the property you use for the link is not available, then you would have no way. So in some cases, it could be helpful to have the same navigate URL under different properties. So the next navigate URL we are going to add is for the location ID, and we will link that one to location using the location ID. And while we're here, let's do one more. That's the organization ID. And oops, sorry, not this one. We're going to add the navigate URL here. And of course, organization ID should link to the organization with the ID of the organization. We click to save this one. And there we have all the navigate URLs we need for the service issue. So, having all these navigate URLs, let's click the save and apply the changes button there. And let's go back to the business controller. Now, we could go back to the list of service objects, and that would refresh the configuration, or we could reload the frame, and then the configuration is also refreshed. And you can see that because now the values here in this list have become clickable. So this one should go to the service issue. The location ID would link to the location. And if you click on it, then as you can see, you can zoom in on the service issue. And in the service issue, you will also see that the hyperlinks are available here, except those of the service issue number and the description. The reason why they are not available here is not because we forgot something in the configuration, but they would lead to the same page that we are on already. So we don't do that. If we open up the hyperlink in a new tab, you can see the organization here, and that was also opened using that navigate URL. So navigate URLs are a perfect way to guide the user to more detailed information in the portal. So if the number and description are not clickable, that is because the service issue is already opened. There's no use for the navigate URL there. Okay, now let's go back and let me show you some other tricks you can do using the navigate URL. Let's open this one in a new tab. And I open this in a new tab because here you can see the address bar in the browser. And there you see controller is service issue and ID is. These values come from the navigate URL. Now, let's show you some variations on this URL. So, what if we remove ID is? So there's no ID in the URL, and if there's no ID supplied, the portal will automatically default back to the search screen. And here the user can use the search filter options to find the correct service issue he's looking for. So that's done with the service issue filters here on top. Now, as you can see, we have set the processed search field to be defaulted to no. We want to see only the not processed service issues. That is not something the user has to put in. That will be there by default. So, what if we want to guide the user to this page, but without that default? Now, let's go to the URL bar. The first parameter should always be preceded using a question mark. And each parameter consists of a name equals a value. So let's add one, and we will add here and clear defaults equals 1. And then hit the enter button. And as you can see, by adding this in the URL, the default state for this search box will be ignored and it will be empty. So you can manipulate the way the search boxes are filled by the URL you are calling for. In this case, use clear defaults equals 1 and then it will not be shown. If the user wants to create a new service issue, he can hit the create button. And that's something you can also manipulate from the URL. So let's remove the clear defaults equals 1 and let's put in here add new equals 1. Enter to apply the URL, and as you can see, the create screen will automatically be opened from the URL. So that again saves one click for the user. Now, let's enter a new service issue here. We have a printer that we service in this example, and toner needs to be added. So let's put that information in and click save. The service issue is saved into the database and the user is guided to this screen. Okay, let's go back to the list of service issues and show you some more examples from the Navigate URL. Now we only have 2 service issues, but once the list of service issues expands, the user will have to use the search panel here and filter by service issue type, or let's say he wants to search all service issues that are regarding paper or regarding toner here. And he can use the description property for that. Now, that's something you can also do from the URL. So enter the following and description, that's the name of the property that you want to pre-fill, equals the value you want to put in there. And if you hit the enter button, then you will see the value here is automatically pre-filled in here with the description. And you can even manipulate the way the search filter should be applied by using the pipe symbol, and let's say NE not equal, and then that filter option will be applied as well. So you can completely manipulate the search boxes here to get the correct search for the user, so the user does not have to do any search options. So let's close that panel and let's show how to use this in your configuration. So let's go to the service object. And remember, in the service object, we had some KPIs, the number of open issues and the number of processed issues. Let's pick the open issues property here, and we are going to add a Navigate URL here. So click the plus sign we are going to make it link to the business controller service issues here, but we will leave the ID empty. So click Save to add the Navigate URL. So the first part of our URL is built here, and we are going to add a new parameter to this Navigate URL. You can do that by clicking the plus sign here. So we get the option for a new parameter, and we will call it processed, and it will have the value 1. Click Save to add this parameter to the Navigate URL, and it will look like this. So this would start a default search where processed equals 0. Now we are going to the processed issues, and we are going to copy that Navigate URL as a start. Of course, we don't want to have it exactly the same, so we click that plus sign to enter the edit mode, and we are going to edit this parameter, and we are going to set the value here to 1. Let's click the Save button to apply, and click the Save button here to save the configuration and apply the changes. Let's go back to the business controller. And if we reload this one, you can see that now these values are clickable. There are 2 open service issues, and if I open this one in a new tab, you can see here controller equals service issue and processed equals 0. And that will start the search using processed is no. Now if I pick the other one, processed will be set to yes. So using this, you can have a predefined search behind any value you want. Okay, let's close this one, and let me show you another example of how you can use this. Okay, let's go back to the business entities. Let's click the open issues, and let's say we don't want to link to the search, but we want to create a new service issue from here. So we can add or remove this one. Let's remove it, and then we can click the plus button up here to add another parameter here, and here we are going to use the add new, and we will give it the value 1. Click to save the changes, and then click the Save Configuration button to save and apply all the changes we did. Let's go back to the business controller. We are going to reload the frame, and if we click on this one now, you will see that it defaults to the entry screen where you can create a new service issue. So it behaves a bit like a copy action, but of course it's a bit more simple and it doesn't have the transformations. Okay, so in the previous video about copy actions, we ended telling you that we would show you how to use the Navigate URL in the copy action with the add service issue. So let's go there. We go to the copy action and we select add service issue to service object. That's where we left off in the previous video. We expand the Navigate URL panel, and we can again leave the base path to the Silver Solution page. Now it should redirect to the service object with the service object ID. So it's basically a refresh of the page. Click to save these changes, and then click the Save and Apply Configuration button here on the bottom. Now let's go back to the business controller here. And let's remove these service issues so we can see the effect. So there are no service issues open here. We are going to deactivate the service object, as you can see here. And now let's add a new service issue. Click the service issue copy action. And let's select the service issue type here. We are going to enter a description. It has a broken paper tray that happened today, and we are going to fix it next Monday. Okay, and let's put in a timestamp here and click create. Now watch. As you can see, the page is automatically refreshed. The service object is active and the service issue is here, including the hyperlinks to the service issue there. So, NavigateURL's is basically the way to construct a hyperlink for a property, and you can apply it in different places in the configuration, like the copy action. So, that's it for this video.